great to, I think once one entity, one organization, one business starts that development, there is going to be real interest in it from others as well. So, you know, we were kind of hoping that we could be a catalyst. I know that there are some other organizations that might be interested, or businesses that might be interested in going there as well. So it's very tentative at this point. I want to make sure you understand we're not making any promises or have not made any definitive plans, but wanted to start to have that discussion about what you think about development of that area, and potentially some feedback as to what services you hear from your constituents might be needed in this area. So that's pretty much the entire message that I had to say. It's a very important. You're a very important part of our service here. I definitely want to make sure that everybody understands that.
I believe that if you have specialists, it would be a lot, like some people have to go say, you know, Worcester or something. If you could provide them there, it would really be a big time saving and cost saving.
Sure. And we've got, UMass is providing certain specialty services now. For example, there are specialists in neurology, endocrinology, and diabetes, rheumatology. Those are all physicians that come to us via UMass Memorial. We also have, obviously, a lot of our own specialty physicians in different areas. And so we're trying to figure out what might make sense. Because in this particular kind of situation, you're not talking about a demand that would require a full-time practice, for example, or a specialty. But if there was a, rheumatologist or a cardiologist there, a certain amount of time each week, then those types of services could be scheduled. Also, if we could do some ancillary services, whether it's a lab drawing station or some basic radiography, that would be, it would take some pressure off the main campus of the hospital, which obviously is a very busy place. It would be more convenient for patients, especially those patients who may be using Narragansett Family Practice for their primary care, or might have other primary care providers in the region. So, we look at it, would love to do something that's a win-win. That would be good for the hospital in the long run. That would be good for the community and the patients that we serve. Access is important. It's very important. And we've, in the state of Massachusetts, gotten insurance coverage for more and more people. There's more and more of a demand, for these types of services, and especially preventative types of services and screening types of services. So it's we're excited about it. Again, nothing's done. We haven't purchased any land. We haven't filed any applications of any type. So this is meant to be a preliminary discussion, and for me to sort of be able to get a pulse, if you will, of the town and the interest in having us go forward with some of the planning.
A few years ago, the planning board did a lot of work to make a comprehensive zoning package for the town. And exit 19 and exit 20 is zoned industrial now.
Commercial industrial.
Commercial industrial. That allows a medical.
It's actually spelled out in there. It's what they're asking to do is allowed by just by right, but through planning board permitting.
That's great. If you're first one there,
you get the best spot.
You're the best spot, that's right.
The best spot.
Get your parking spot.
We finally did something right.
The other thing I'd like you to know is that what we're talking about is potentially purchasing the property, but potentially not developing necessarily the property ourselves, whether doing a land lease to some other organization, developer of some type. We really need to conserve the hospital's capital for the hospital itself and the equipment and the computer systems that we're using. But many hospitals use this sort of a model where an outside developer is used, but we do a long-term lease of the building. That's the basis on which this goes forward. Stress to you that under that kind of scenario, this would be a taxable, entity, and so therefore would bring new tax revenues to the town, which obviously everybody's.
No, are you talking the piece of land that's west of the pond, or where the old restaurant used to be?
It's actually
west of the pond.
West of the pond,
Yeah,
right?
You know Lawrence
Right
there?
Right. Immediately adjacent to the exit.
Yeah, too.
There's a town boundary that goes right here. Make sure you stay on the
It's a
Templeton
little
side.
slice of village. I
Very
think all our planning is on that side. So
Put the septic
I think there's only a very small.
Put the septic on that side?
I'm not, no, Phelps is very important to us too, so, but, yeah, that's the other thing, obviously, there'd be more testing that would be necessary in that area as far as, water and sewer and those sorts of things. But it would be a pretty, it's not really doing anything esoteric there or anything that's, tertiary type clinical services. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, physician services and some of the basic ancillaries that we needed to support those services and make patients. So, my commitment to you is that as we go forward, we would keep you informed about what we're thinking. Again, looking for your feedback as well, and we'll see where it goes.
Would you recommend we send you a letter supporting this project?
That would be great. My board of trustees is always in me as well. Having that kind of support and level of interest from the town is significant for us. We have facilities in many of the area towns. We're not only Gardner, but the Winchton Health Center, which is in place for many years, and we have offices in other towns as well. That kind of support really would be significant for my board of trustees. Obviously, we're talking about a big venture. It's a big commitment going forward, doing this type of a project. But we think that growth is important. It's important for the town. It's important for the hospital. If you're not growing as an organization in healthcare these days, you're in pretty big trouble. And we've seen hospitals across the country, have trouble in this recession and economic downturn. All the hospitals out there, including Hayward, have had to do some difficult things to cope with that. But in the long run, the thing that really has saved Hayward over the years and made us a strong, independent community hospital is growth. New physicians and new services, new locations, and we're committed to doing those sorts of things to keep the hospital strong.
Mr. Ellis told me it was you.
What's that?
Mr. Ellis told me it was you that kept us so.
Oh, is that right? Well, I'm happy to take the credit. I usually take the blame. So,
Mr. Watkins' money.
Well, that's true. Mr. Watkins has been, not only Mr. Watkins, but it's amazing, the entire community responds to the fundraising, our own employees and physicians. It really is nice to see that kind of backing from people, not only have we done significant fundraising, but the hospital's taken on significant debt as a result of going forward with the project. So it's interesting, when you borrow money, people actually want to pay back. And growth is the way that we will do that. As more people utilize our physicians and our services, certainly that is a big plus for us as well as those patients. So again, that's my commitment to you, that would be an open and honest dialogue about what's going on. The letter of support would be great, and I will keep you posted on everything that happens as we go forward.
I'd entertain a motion that we would support this project and send a letter to
the Hayward Hospital Board of Trustees.
Before you leave, you could leave a name and address.
Absolutely.
To support the project.
Let's second it also.
Okay, moved and seconded to send a letter supporting the project. Is there any discussion? Okay,
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Chris? Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much.
We'll get that out.
Any other information we can give you this evening? If not, okay, thank you very much.
That's what I made right here.
Thanks, everybody.
Whoa. Do you know how high you gotta go with the building? How many stories?
20 stories.
20 stories. Boy, would I love that. But no, we hadn't decided whether it was going to be a single story or a two-story building at this point. Some will depend on, if we want to leave ourselves room for expansion in the future, how that works. But we would certainly work with the planning board to nothing more than a 1 or 2 story building. Okay.
If you need any money, see John O'Brien.
Really? Yeah?
You know.
I'll tell him to send that.
Mr. Mullin?
He's got it.
Can you give
It won't be high.
information?
Yes, I'll do that.
Thank you. Okay, what are we on? The room minutes, right?
Yeah.
Difference in the minutes of 12:10:09 and 12:14.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion, we accept the minutes of December 10th, 2009.
Yeah, I will. Touch over it.
Not everybody was there.
You never change.
I'll second that.
Big one, second, to accept the minutes of December 10th, 2009. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes.
I can't abstain.
Yep. Abstain. And, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, December 14, 2009.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes of December 14th, 2009.
Second that?
Seconded to accept the minutes of December 14, 2009. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to submit this capital planning information into the minutes as a response to Julie attachments from this meeting. I'd like to present it, incorporate in the minutes of this meeting.
Oh, tonight's meeting?
Yes, the capital planning information that was discussed
That's for tonight's
early
meeting.
for tonight's meeting.
All right, so, did anyone second this? Yes, we did.
Yes.
Yes.
Any further discussion?
Oh,
Okay, roll call, Bob?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Julie?
yes.
Chris?
Yes.
And yes.
Six.
You mean she? Okay. I write notes on that.
Minutes?
Oh, excuse me. Did you want a hundred?
Yeah, you probably did.
Where's the last one? Not sure where it's-
Five?
Five, yeah.
Okay, department lines of credit. Julie?
Yeah, we had a discussion, Dennis wanted to open up a line of credit with National Lumber because they had a name change from Pelletier
Yes.
to National Lumber, and we had to go through the process of
Right.
establishing a line of credit, and then we had a discussion about, we didn't know
How much amount?
how much or who had it.
Right.
So now we have the information of who has what information, what lines of credit. So I've just gone through this briefly. I'm not sure like what the guidelines would be, either from like the accountant or the auditors, because a line of credit is something that's outstanding. It's what you can borrow up to. I don't know if it's a potential liability or not. I'm not that well versed in that area of accounting or, yeah?
Mr. Chairman, Julie, I don't think it's line, what it is, I think is the different town departments, they will go to a business and purchase up to so much materials and so forth. I don't think it's it's used against the town. I think it's just when they go purchase it up to a certain amount, and then they just, it's a line of credit, then they pay for it when their bills receive.
Right, but I don't know how much, see, that's what I don't know. That's what I would like to find out. Like, is there a limit? Should there be a limit? Maybe we should have a policy on how many lines of credit we have and how much each line of credit should be. And that's something, I just started this to just generate that discussion. Because, we found out that the assessors have 2,500 at Staples. Then you go to the Board of Health, they have a line of credit with Staples up to 10,000.
Right.
It's just, there's all varying amounts by different departments. Building department, they have 10,000 with Staples, 1,000 with Mackey. And then there was a little note down here, balance 5,880.47. I have no idea what that number means.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we need to look at the numbers and maybe come up with a
Yeah.
policy or procedure, okay? Now that we've got some of the information as to who has what line of credit where and for how much, I think, it's something that we need to do.
probably have to talk to all the departments concerned and get their reasoning for the various amounts.
Right, some departments have, like, I mean, to have two different lines of credit for two different departments at Staples doesn't make much sense to me. There may be a good reason for it, maybe there's another way of doing it. I don't know that much about it. But I just, that's a concern to me.
Well, the only thing I can say is unless you did Staples and had all the different departments on that one credit line, and whoever went in there, they'd get it back.
Right, but I mean, I know that when we go out and buy stuff, we have to, you know, go by either a bid list or something like that if it reaches a certain amount of money. And I think 10,000 is above that, above that, for the 30B procurement laws. So I think it's just a way to tighten and control, and so we know what's going on. So we know what the town, because it's ultimately the town that's liable for this. So I'd like to see some work done on, like, collating and making a spreadsheet, which department has what line of credit and how much, and then we can look at it and analyze it instead of looking at these separate pieces of paper. I think that'd be the next step. So I'll make a motion to that effect, that we start probably with the town accountant and ask, he works for other towns, so maybe he knows more about lines of credit. And we can get some information to start with from him, and then we can start a spreadsheet. And that would be my motion.
I think you'd have to start with
Yeah.
I think you'd have to start with the vendors, because some vendors would have certain amounts.
Has there been a problem in the past?
I'm not saying it's been a problem. I'm just saying that we need to know, I think we're responsible for the finances of the town. We should know where our lines of credit are and for how much, and who can borrow how much, and who's in charge of the line of credit, who can do the borrowing. I don't think that's, you know,
I don't think
this, you have to have a problem.
I think it's purchasing, Julie.
Right, I know it's purchasing, but it's a line of credit.
I'll talk to Scott and see if he
Really?
has a problem. You can't go down to the store and pay cash, particularly for what the highway department needs.
That's not what I'm suggesting.
Well,
I'm not suggesting that we eliminate all lines of credit. I'm suggesting that we create a spreadsheet, we know which department has a line of credit where and for how much. And then we should discuss it again to figure out if we want a policy or a procedure.
Could the departments themselves make a spreadsheet of their own lines of credit?
What does the cemetery have?
None.
Cemetery zero.
None is any,
We're
zero.
broke, we need money.
What is the planning board?
Yeah, I don't think we should get to a
What's that?
point where we have a problem.
It's a major one.
For what? Lines of credit?
Highways
Yeah.
and lines of credit.
No, we don't need it.
Has Staples or anything?
Staples, you just, we order it and the invoice and we,
The town clerk doesn't know either.
That's a line of credit. You
Yeah,
order-
just like the highway.
No, but you submit a
The only thing I
purchase
see
order,
here
you
is,
get
for
paid.
instance, that last one, National Lumber, there's nothing at all. It doesn't say anything about how much amount of money.
We didn't get the credit lines every year.
Did we get the credit line through National Lumber yet?
Tammy sent it in.
Oh, it isn't back yet? Okay. Okay.
All right, let's start with Scott and see what.
Yeah.
I'll have Scott send an email to the board. If that's acceptable. Yeah.
Okay, the next item is the possible expansion of the offices here. We just sent our letter to the JVM that we need this place for another year. And through discussions with Kirk, who is a friend of Eddie Gagey's. Eddie asked if we needed any more room. I told him we'd like to have 2 rooms, actually 3 down further. So we started measuring those up, and today I got a call from Mr. DePiero, who is the manager of JBM, the business manager. And he wants to sit down and see what the town needs and possibly take, if you go beyond the doors here, there's a huge area out there where they're doing pallets. They would move that and work that the way we needed it, and we would have everybody in one building. So I don't know if we proceed with that or continue with a new building, which doesn't seem to be going anywhere, or what we want to do, stay as we are. The only reason I'm bringing that up tonight is the articles have to be in, and we would have to preserve a spot on there to decide what we're going to do. Yes.
How much more is it gonna cost them?
Don't know until we know the square footage. I gotta give Mr. DePiero the square footage we need to put everybody here.
But everybody would be here?
But by everybody, who's that?
People on people down on that street.
Does that mean the highway and everything?
No.
No.
Okay, well then I think maybe if we just take this under advisement for the next,
No,
for the 25th.
I don't want to take it out. I need to let them know whether we're going to proceed or
No,
not. We should proceed.
I'll make a motion that we proceed.
What the question that she has is exactly what Mrs. DePiero and myself come up with in 2 weeks, if we want to continue with it.
Making motion pending discussion.
Pending discussion of Mr. Barrow for the rent for the building.
There's 3 ways we can go. We can stay the way we are, or rent those 3 buildings, those 3 rooms down there, bring the assessors, town clerk, and conservation down here, the assessors, the town clerk, and the CDBG people down here, and move the conservation into where the assessors are. Then you can close down totally 4 Elm Street. The other is to bring them all over here and take them all out of 2 School Street and 4 Elm Street. And have everybody together. So,
Jerry, I can tell you that the town clerk's building is very, very expensive to heat.
well, if we're told that we have to make that ADA accessible, we're looking at $76,000.
Yeah.
Do we have that?
I'll second Dennis' motion to at least
Look
look into it and have the discussions with Mr. DePiero and get the measurements.
Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Next meeting.
All right, and vote it whether we're going to go for expanded or not at the next meeting.
Yes.
Which way we should.
Okay, so we'll have more facts at the next meeting.
Yes.
That's
All right,
the purpose
that's what
of looking into it.
Yeah, this is
All
just
right.
to talk to him to see.
Yeah, because like I thought you wanted us to put an article on to do it.
Well, we're gonna have to eventually.
Yeah.
Well, if that's
If it
what the
goes through.
information,
If it
right.
goes, you know,
The satisfactory.
the numbers fit.
Who's got a question?
Yeah, I had a question. If you do move the people out of that, I know the little Elm Street there, you said it was very expensive to heat. Would you have the numbers on the heating costs for the entire year?
I got the heat and the electricity,
You have
and
that.
what we spend on that building for cleaning is about $6,200 a year.
A year, and would it come to more than $6,200 a year for what, you said you don't know, right?
That we don't know.
Well, if I take the square footage that's here,
Okay,
and multiply that by the square footage we're paying here, it comes out to about $9,000.
so it would increase by $2,800 a year?
Right,
To
but
bring
you
them
have
over to
everybody
here?
here, you wouldn't have to maintain that, plowing and that
What would
stuff.
become of that building?
We can dispose of it, surplus property.
Push it.
Push it over the fence.
Yeah, it is kind of depressing.
Go
So
on the
I was just
list.
wondering how much would it cost us
I don't want to know
to
what's
raise
in
that building too? I mean, you gotta figure that in there too, you can't just let it rot.
There's a possibility somebody might buy
Get
it.
rid of it or,
We never thought anyone was gonna buy the 2 fire stations, but they did.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's also an insurance cost, a big insurance cost.
Is there?
Yeah.
We're gonna move the building inspector over here too.
Is what?
You're gonna move the building inspector
It
over here.
depends, it depends what we get for the room.
Upstairs, not a handicap building, and the building inspector.
He's fine, the ADA has
Oh, he ain't
no,
fine. I got a letter. I'm gonna bring it next week
the
to show you.
ADA has no problem with him, long as he can come downstairs. and
No,
we
they
can-
don't have to. They're gonna come up, they're gonna come flat where it's supposed to be, ain't even the sidewalks going into it. Don't keep arguing. I'll slap every crat in this town, like Walter Rolfe did one year. I
Okay,
get another letter.
all right.
What you got against the building
Can I
inspector bringing me in?
I'd like to see your letter.
I will, I'll bring it next week.
Okay.
Where's the building inspector? Why come he can't come over here?
What's he over here for?
Why don't you put him over here, keep track of
I
him?
just said if we get the room, we will.
You will. Who
Yeah.
said no?
I did not.
No,
He said it depended on how much.
that was my question, I clarified, my question is that gonna be, one of the options is to actually bring everybody over?
Yeah.
So the only one that would be left in Bones, correct me if I'm wrong, would be the fire chief? Or we move the fire chief
Well,
over?
that building's gonna be the fire station.
That would be the fire station headquarters, the chief would
Yeah,
actually still
because
stay there?
The emergency people are upstairs,
Okay.
the emergency room. But what I gotta do with Mike is I gotta get,
Cost per square footage for
I
expansion,
figured to
correct?
bring everybody here, we need approximately another 5,000 square feet. If he's got another 5,000, then he can move pallets out and everything else. and do it
Right.
all.
How many feet do we have here now?
Right here, this is about 3,200.
So you want another 5,000? We pay $50,000 a year for 32?
I want another 5,000. That's to bring everybody.
Yeah, so I mean, that'd be over 100,000 a year, wouldn't it?
Nobody
No,
wants-
no, just if it goes the same.
I agree, and it's 100,000 to build a new building.
Yeah, I know it, but geez, at least it's ours.
Nobody wants to build
No
one.
one wants to vote to do it.
Especially when
Go to
they
the
see
floor and have that speech, nobody wants to hear
Oh,
it.
I know it, but you know, it's just, it's, not you guys, not you guys, but what I'm saying, the town is foolish doing it this way,
Well, I think
in my opinion.
it's because of all the projects that we have.
Yeah, they wanna get the.
$48 million.
They wanna get the school done
Project
and
done.
then,
Who
yeah.
wants the school done? Not us old people.
Well,
Yeah, I
you're
do.
talking for yourself, there I know a few people who
You're
want
not,
it.
you're not retired yet.
All right.
Congratulations.
Anyway.
Speaking of that school, what's that, what is
You
it
don't
up to
need more
right now?
taxes.
Is it 48 million, is that what I heard?
No, no, they don't even know yet. We haven't even got the answer that I know
No.
of, whether we can build only one or if we have to do the other
That's
three.
too
No, I'm
much,
talking about
isn't
the
it?
school.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
They said.
Okay.
Oh, this process has gone on and on.
Okay,
It's just,
okay.
ugh.
What happens when you go for state welfare?
Okay, next one is the,
We haven't voted on
Yeah,
it.
vote.
The one question I had is the bathroom. We get everybody over here,
Yeah.
we got one bathroom.
No, there's extra down there.
there's another bathroom in the back
Uh-huh.
of ours,
On the other
hall on the other
side?
side.
Okay.
That would have to come with it, or we would need. Or
Okay, yeah,
another
because
one
I
would have
just
to be
couldn't
put
see,
in.
yes.
Yes. Oh, and it would also include that parking lot over there.
Yeah.
More parking.
You have enough parking in?
I
It
mean,
would
you mean the
include
one
that
that
over
bought
there,
it?
one on top.
Call Scotty's Parties.
That's the one with the handicap.
Okay,
We didn't.
we didn't vote yet. Okay. Roll call, Bob.
Yes.
It's just gonna get one.
Yes. Drew.
Yes.
Chris? Yes. All right. Yes. Discuss and confirm due date for ATM, which is annual town meeting warrant balance.
We combine, number attachment 10 with this one, is it the same question?
What?
Number, the one down, couple down further, action on sewer department legal request, what's that after?
Well, that's nothing to do with the warrant articles.
It's
What?
Well, it's about opening and closing the warrant.
the same subject.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. All right, the letter that we're talking about is the letter that went out to all town departments. The letter says, be advised that the deadline for submission of article requests for the May annual town meeting warrant is noon on Wednesday, February 17th, 2010. All requests must be into the selectman's office on or before the aforementioned date and time. All article requests must be typed and submitted in article form. The request must be signed by the majority of the board, committee, commissioner, by the authorized department head. Cost estimates must be provided with an article that requires funding.
I just wanted to know, what is the process for opening and closing a warrant for a town meeting or special town meeting? Because
As far as I know, it goes by the dates working back from the meeting that has been called. And,
Okay.
um,
So when is our scheduled date for the annual town meeting in May?
Second Tuesday of May.
Okay. So that'll be May 11th, and then we work back from that?
No?
No?
No, if you look at Article 4, Section 4A of the Advisory Committee, which is the bylaw, it says all articles other than those deemed by the Board of Selectmen to constitute an emergency sought to be inserted in the town warrant for the annual town meeting shall be filed with the Board of Selectmen and referred by them to the Advisory Committee on or before March 20, and all articles sought to be inserted in the warrant for a special town meeting shall be referred by the Board of Selectmen to the Advisory Committee at least 15 days before the date set for such meeting.
Okay, so we're looking at March 20th.
Right, so the request for legal services wants the meeting to go to the end of March, which you can't by bylaw.
Okay. But it can go up to, like, the week before March 20th.
How's that gonna happen?
We have to,
Right, we have to look at them and vote the ones we're gonna put forward, but a lot of times the language isn't finalized.
The language won't be
Right.
finalized.
Right. So,
But I can tell the advisory board, I'm not gonna collect articles and just copy them and send them to the advisory board.
no, we would have to vote on what, it's what we've put forward as a board.
That's correct.
So, why can't we make it March 8th, which is before the 20th, and it's our first meeting in March?
how many articles are gonna be on there?
We don't know.
And when's the typing time to prepare them? Get them
Well, you're
all-
asking for the articles to be submitted, already written up,
Right, but
with
they're
the
not
wording in
filled.
article form with cost estimates. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure what the issue is.
They're not on the list.
I don't understand what the issue is to begin with.
I don't
It works-
understand why.
It
My
works every
issue
year.
is,
It works every year, the way it's
okay,
done.
well,
I don't know when the deadline is, right?
it's the
That's what you're
deadline.
trying to do,
Right.
What's the
determine
problem
the
with the
deadline.
deadline?
Determine the
Right.
deadline, and we didn't vote. This letter was sent out, and that's why I didn't sign it, because we didn't vote on this at a public
You
meeting.
don't have to, it goes by the bylaw.
I think as Board of Selectmen, when we are calling for submission of warrant articles for the annual town meeting, it should be done at a public meeting, so that the public knows that we're gonna set, we're opening the warrant, and that we're setting a closing date for the warrant.
It's usually posted.
We can
They
change
posted
the
by the- usually
procedure. This procedure's been
Gardner
in
News or
effect
something like that. They usually
It's
post
just
when
a
it opens,
normal
when it
Can you,
closes.
can you do me a favor?
What?
The last town meeting, you complained about when they came in and when the board, can you come back at the next meeting with a schedule, please? Of what you think the date should be? Thank you.
You know, every year it's the middle of February, and that's really pushing it for our office. The selectmen have to have a meeting in the interim, vote what articles, sometimes the articles take 2 nights to vote. Then we have to prepare them all, put them in some sort of departmental order, and then we have to send them unlegalized, the way that I can type them up, and get all the figures together and send them by March 20th by bylaw to the advisory board. So this procedure's been in effect, I mean, I've been here 15 years, so if the board want to change procedures, but please consider the office time and your time voting what you want to go on the warrant.
Plus, we just lost a girl, so we don't have the
Plus,
time.
we're replacing
I don't understand what the problem is, moving it, even if it is a week early, what difference, but everybody knows what they're gonna do anyways.
It's always that week in February, and that really pushes our office, our staff. I would prefer it February 1st. Budgets have to be in the end of December. There are some departments, maybe one or two, that push it, but you deal with it.
I just feel that when we open a warrant, it should be done at a public meeting, okay? We didn't vote on this.
You've never voted, you didn't vote last year.
I'm just saying, I feel we should vote on it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, let's vote right now then.
Let's vote now then.
We make a motion that we make the articles due February 17th. As written. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Bob?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Billy?
No,
Chris?
Yes.
And I will put it on the agenda next year.
All right, so in the same token, you said you were discussing the sewer department legal request, which can't be done according to,
I think the town clerk has that law, when it opens, when it closes.
we need
I
a,
checked with town council a while ago, she said the selectmen.
do we need a vote for the legal request?
What's that, Jerry?
Do we need a vote for the legal request even though it can't be done by bylaw?
I prefer that you voted, yes. I prefer that you did if you,
All right, I'll make a motion, we don't discuss the sewer department legal request.
And seconded, how to consider the legal request from the sewer department. Any discussion?
Yeah, do you have particular grounds for why you're not going to allow them legal counsel?
Because by bylaw, it can't go till the end of, it has to be March 20th.
He's asking for it to go to the end of March.
He's asking it to go to the March 30th, you can't.
So
Bylaws.
if he should increase his, bring his date up, he can come back and request that legal counsel. If he comes back and says,
Up to
I'd like
what?
to get it before the 20th. I'm not quite sure.
He wants to extend it.
he wants to move it from the 17th to sometime in March. He says right here, the end of March, there's no date.
So I don't have that, so I'm not
I
sure.
know, I don't know.
I can show it to you.
Yes.
Is that what the legal opinion is on, is whether or not it can be moved or opened or closed? What does the sewer department have a legal
It
issue
says
they
here,
want to
it is our
discuss?
understanding, parentheses, Board of Sewer Commissioners, that the articles for the annual town meeting warrant can close 45 days prior to annual town meeting, end of March. Do the selectmen have the authority to move the deadline for submission to middle of February? Well, it says they have to be to you by the 20th. We
They're
can't
by
go.
bylaw.
But his legal request is on that bylaw, not on another issue. He wants a legal opinion on whether that's legal or not, is that what I'm saying the legal is?
I don't want to spend money on this.
Well, I'm just wondering, what is it?
I just,
It says, well, I think the question is, does the selectman have the
He's
authority
asking if we have
to
the authority.
move the deadline?
Who's he asking?
Yes,
Us.
it does.
He's asking us to give it to
us to
him.
ask legal,
Okay,
all right? But we have a bylaw in place that tells you March 20th
okay.
is the
when-
drop dead date that
to
you
give
have to
them to
get.
you.
You have to
Yeah.
get.
In final
Okay.
form.
No, not in
No.
final form,
No,
it's
not in
never in
final
final
form.
form. Sometimes it changes the
That's
night
what
of the
legal
meeting.
after that.
Madam Chairman?
Scratching my head, Jerry. Trying to get rid of this
Are we
itch.
all?
Yeah.
You scratched the question right out.
Thanks for asking,
Moved and
Jerry.
seconded. Not to discuss the,
Sean, you have a question?
Well, I have
No, I just-
one
go ahead.
discussion on it.
Okay.
I just think that we should make a response to the sewer commissioners.
we will. We always do.
I'll call Ken tomorrow, Julie. If that's all
Okay,
right.
how about a written response? Then there's a paper trail when it's done.
Town council has determined the selectmen open or close the warrant. I have that verbally from town council. But consider the process. March 20th to Linda. I can't get them the day before, and the selectmen, if they start voting them the day before, they may go into 2 nights as they had before. And then we need office time to prepare them. and people have had, how many, since February, what? When did this letter go out? What's the date of this letter?
The 15th that we
15th of
didn't
January?
vote to send, yes.
So people will have had 2 months, right? Or a month. depending on
15th of
what-
December.
Right, people have had 2
If
months.
we wanna talk deadlines, when the budget's supposed to be in?
The end of December.
The end of December. We don't have the sewer departments yet, so we wanna talk deadlines.
Well, I think we're talking about town meeting warrants.
I'm talking deadlines.
Well, it's
All right.
already, it's a moot point. I just want to make sure that there's a written response given to the sewer commissioners who made the request.
Okay.
I think a phone call would suffice.
I'm seeing Kent Wednesday morning, I'm meeting with him, so I could, out of convenience. So that was all. I'll do whatever the board says, whatever the board directs.
Did you wanna change your? Okay, so first, move and second, not to discuss the.
Right, just do it.
Okay. Roll call, Bob?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yep.
If we're gonna respond to them, is Kent on the,
Kent is
Commission?
there.
I know
He's
who
the
Kent is,
superintendent,
but
yeah.
he's not on the actual sewer
No,
commission.
he's
No,
the superintendent.
So we should probably get a letter to the commission, because that's who's requesting, it's not to Kent.
Well, usually, okay,
That's my
I'll do
opinion.
that. Usually people come through me in our office, but
Yeah.
that's okay, out of respect for Kent, that's all I'm doing it for, yeah. Whatever the select board directs.
It's the commissioners that are requesting it, I think it's the commissioners that should get the answer. It's not the answer they want,
Yeah.
But they should.
they should be the ones to get the answer.
It will say town council has determined the selectmen open and close the warrant.
Okay, we start the vote, right? Well,
Yes.
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 Yes? Let them know.
yes.
That's all.
Let's pay for
Just write them all
Right.
down.
Yeah.
All right.
I know.
Cemetery street signs.
Good. How many you want?
None.
Oh.
What do you got us here for, about that?
You got a letter here.
You got a letter.
From who?
Cemetery Park.
You got all these streets you
I
want.
sign it?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Were you out to lunch?
Is there that many streets in the cemetery?
Would you get them in a hypnosis state to sign it?
Is
What?
there that many streets in the cemetery?
Well, I'll tell you, it's coming out of, the, perpetual care. And the 3 people on the board have the control of that money, according to the state. It's gonna cost about $3,800. And one of the main reasons we're doing this is people come down with the trailer. Alina looks up where the thing is, and she tries to tell them. Well, you got older people in there, you know, and they don't know what, there's so many short streets and dirt roads and everything, especially in Ballinville Cemetery. And then you've got, you know, like, most of, like Westminster's got them in their cemetery, Athol, all the big cemeteries, and we're rated one of the better cemeteries in the state, run by the town, you know. And so we figured we got the money to do it, it would be a good time to do it. And I hope you guys agree with us on it. You know, like, because, what I mean, it hurts that if it happens up here in Templeton, and 2 people come down at 10 o'clock Saturday in the morning, I mean, not Saturday morning, and he has to come all the way from Templeton down to Ballinville to show him where the thing is, where we can have maps with the names, you know, and then she can just draw it right out. And it'd save all kinds of time and money for transportation and everything else. I think it's a good idea.
Which I was gonna say, Beanie's Box or?
Wayne W.C. Bean.
Yeah,
You want me to tell you what the rest of it's gonna say? Yeah, we're naming after all the former commissioners.
The selectmen approve in there?
Yeah, we're gonna have a special one for them, and that's gonna be over Bear Island Beach in Bowling.
Is this all, have you used all the names?
Yeah,
God.
Really?
yeah. You know, going back to around 1920 or something.
I mean, is there any names left? Do you have more names than streets? No?
Oh, yeah, we go all the way back to when the cemetery started back in 1800 and something. You know what I mean, but we had to cut out a deadline, you know what I mean? And like, some of these people served on, you know, like I have been, you know, over 10 years on the board, you know. But it's a lot better idea, I think, and the board thinks, that, you know, we'd be saving time and then the people will know.
I have 2 questions.
What?
I have 2 questions.
I got 2 answers.
Does this, and maybe even be 3, I don't know. Does this cover all the commissioners or all the roads?
That covers all the roads.
All the roads, but not, you haven't used all the commissioners' names?
No,
Okay.
no,
So-
some of them they're not even buried in the cemetery, in town. You know, beyond years ago.
Yeah.
You know, like, say they were born in Lowell and then moved out here, well, they get brought back to
Yeah.
Lowell. So these are the people that were on the board that are buried in town.
Okay. Yeah, Pat's on it. I just noticed Pat's name was on there, that's what I was wondering. So that answers my second question.
All right.
Well, they don't have to be buried, you say.
No, we put the names of people that are buried, the commissioners that are buried in town.
Okay, he
You're
was
not.
very, he was very.
Yeah, I know it, but
No, I
he was on the
Yeah.
board, so we put his name in.
Have you talked, or are you going to talk to the families before you use the names of the people?
Oh, we've already gone through the town thing on that and everything. Most of the families, I've talked to most of them, they're the people I know, and most of the people are dead that are on there. Really? You go back and look at a whole.
Well, you got Harry Aldrich on here, not, who's
That was-
H.S. Aldrich?
What?
Who's H.S. Aldrich?
Harry's father.
Okay, so have you talked to Harry? That's what I'm saying.
Right, the family.
Have you talked to the family of these people?
No, do you realize how long that would take?
Well, don't you think you should before you use that name for something? Seriously?
Maybe they don't like the name on it.
I don't know, I mean,
Well, you gonna give us some
She has a
overtime to do this on?
How
Are
about,
you gonna give us some overtime to do this on?
Simple letter.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I was just wondering, we're having that contest for the calendar, why don't we have a contest, name that cemetery road, and everybody puts
You
in
think it's
20 bucks
funny,
and they draw it
you
out.
think it's funny, but
No, it's
you
not
know,
funny. It's
you
not
know,
funny, but that's a way
this
to do it.
cemetery is one of the best run cemeteries in the state of Massachusetts for a town cemetery.
No, I'm not
When
saying
we
it's
go to the
funny.
cemetery meeting, if the dog pound was run as good as a cemetery, they'd be picking up dogs on Sunday that are running around down Back Bay.
Oh, I'm not saying that it's
But-
funny, I'm saying
I'm
have a
just saying, I
contest and
think
then
it would be.
raise the money for the
Everyone,
cemetery.
every family will get a letter.
I think it.
But which one in the family do you send it to? We can ask Harry's brother, he's right there, he's up the cemetery all the time.
Yeah.
That's fine, I just think somebody from the family should be notified.
All right,
Yeah, I think. the
if
one-
they're alive.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's gotta be.
Yeah.
Right, it may be a family that's moved away, you know.
Painting a distinctive band, none of your customers complain.
No,
Oh, see?
we dig them deep.
Does this actually need a vote from the?
No,
No,
because you've got the authority to do it.
We give the authority to do that,
Yeah, no, we don't have-
but, you know, just to cover our bases.
No, I agree with
Like
Chris,
that?
I think the letters should be, the ones that do are alive, or somebody's doing it, the letters should be sent to them.
Yeah, all right. Now we're gonna go back, some of those are back in the 1920s, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there may be
Right,
some.
but there's
Yeah,
some
the
names
ones
that
that
are
are
still
alive.
Like
around.
Hox's, who do you see with the Hox's,
Yeah. No, you don't do that.
you know?
I mean, if there's nothing, there's nobody around.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's a lot of them that.
say Oxy?
Find somebody.
I talked to Mike Lamont, his wife, and he thought it was great, she thought it was great. So, I mean,
The question is, what kind of signs are they gonna be? Are they gonna be having?
they're regular street signs.
Regular street signs, not, because
Yeah,
other
and
maybe
they're
stones
gonna
on
be black
the.
with gold lettering.
Nice.
Bill and Ed.
Go through it.
Well,
Thank
and
you.
the superintendent.
Yes.
All right, the stone's going into Pine Grove in
Green lawn, right.
The stones that going in there, on the back of there is all the commission, all the superintendent's names, all the period they served. So if you ever look at those stones, you'll see all your superintendents
Like
on the
Holden,
back.
Allen,
Where,
Will
on the back of
Brown.
the stone going in?
Yeah,
Yes.
and those stones were donated by Athol Granite. They do a lot of work for us, real cheap. I mean, they fix stones and put that glue on it, and other places are 4 times as much. I mean, he's really great to us. All right, I'm out here.
Very good.
Thank you, fellas, and Julie. See you later, Paul. I do.
Where's
We have, we have one request for a committee appointment, Darlene Leclerc.
For the 25th anniversary,
250.
250th, what am I saying, 25th? Ah.
Okay, the letter says, I served the past 2 years as secretary on the East Temple and Temple Center PTO board, 3 years on the Santa's Workshop Committee, 2 years on the Temple Arts and Crafts Fair Committee, and 3 years on the committee for St. Vincent's Church Fair, and she would like to be on the 250th anniversary celebration committee.
See you later, Eddie.
I'll make a motion, we
Go ahead,
sorry, give Darlene Leclerc that, to be on the 250th anniversary celebration committee. To put her on just celebration committee.
I second that.
Okay, moved and seconded to appoint Darlene Leclerc to the 250th anniversary celebration committee. Any discussion?
To the 250, the town, I know this was mentioned, I had mentioned last year, is the town going to put into the budget this year, to even put something into that fund for that event? Instead of trying to fund it 1 year, if we put it over 2 or 3 years.
Is that 2012 that's gonna be, or?
Yeah, 12.
2012, right?
Yeah.
2 years,
I
yeah.
think what we should do is probably apply to CPC, because I think it can be used
Yeah.
for that. It's a good historical.
CPC? Oh,
Yeah.
are they fund for
They can consider it because it's under the historical part of it.
We'll be seeing John tomorrow, so.
I think so, yeah.
Well, we can check with John.
Yeah, I've been
We'll
working,
be here
checking.
tomorrow.
Okay, I just don't want to say the board is, okay, good, well, never mind, I withdraw my question.
I have a question. How many,
Put it on until February 17th.
how many people are currently on that, and how many, what is your goal as far as expanding?
I believe it's maybe 5.
Be nice.
Is there? Carol, 4 or
What's
5
that?
right now?
There is, 1, 2, 3, this will be the 4th.
And what's your goal as far as head count? How many people do you want to get on the committee itself?
Oh, at least 10.
Gail Whittle is trying to head it up.
Should want to be
Julie-
chairperson?
You want to be chair?
No, Julie Brown is there now too?
Julie Brown,
Yeah.
and then a lady in East Templeton, Kathy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this will be,
Yeah.
But what's your head, you want how many on the committee? 11 as well? wasn't it?
I would
10?
think
It's
as
a lot of
many as
work.
possible, it's an awful lot of work. I would say 25,
Really?
each sending a different task
They have subcommittees.
and break them up.
When elected officials get on that board, we don't want a conflict.
That's right. We're not going to be honest, we're going to go conflict.
Okay, so we have our.
We have a motion.
Is that resigning for that?
Roll call.
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Bruce,
Yes.
and yes. Okay, hello, business.
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman? I'd like to read a couple of statements, if I may. First one, I have 2 statements. The first one, this letter is to respond to Peter Farrell's letter to the editor printed in the Garden News on Wednesday, December 9th, 2009. I felt upon reading Mr. Farrell's message that the facts must be presented surrounding the vote in October 2005 to settle the Templeton wastewater treatment plant versus Irving paper mill litigation. The Board of Selectmen's vote followed a 2-to-1 vote by the Templeton Sewer Commissioners to settle the suit. During the Board of Selectmen's meeting, Town Council explained that the case had no merit and that it was not a winnable case. The reasons for this determination are contained in Judge Canetta's ruling in order of September 6, 2009, which stated a finding is made that the plaintiff, the town, acting through its duly authorized commissioners, now due of all the evidence now proffered as newly discovered, and they failed, refused, and neglected to communicate the same to the counsel of record, and further failed in their duty to disclose the same to the defendants during the course of this litigation, which has now gone on for a protracted period of years. The ruling further states the plaintiff's accounting is deficient in at least 2 such areas, and therefore fails to reflect a true, accurate, and complete accounting as called for by the court under its order. I add to these facts that a total of 5 selectmen voted to settle this case, in addition to 2 of the 3 sewer commissioners. This makes a total of 7 votes to settle the suit, with 1 lone sewer commissioner vote not to settle. Perhaps Mr. Farrell should ask Mrs. Julie Farrell what motivated her to allegedly interfere in the court proceedings heard before Judge Canetta, September 2005. Based upon the facts, 6 out of 7 officials chose to bring a hopeless case to a conclusion after years and years of time spent costing taxpayers and ratepayers around $1 million, with nothing to show for the time and money spent by the sewer. People at our last elected meeting had an issue with us spending a few $100s, scarce town funds to look into a matter. And this year has gone on for a long period of time. I'll add to that also that after the vote to settle, there was 2 town meeting votes to not spend any more money in regards to this case. And the sewer commission saw it fit to go forward and hire a lawyer, and subsequently cost the town another $25,000. So I just bring that out as information to get the records, facts straight and set the record straight.
I'd like to make a motion to incorporate that statement into the minutes of tonight's meeting.
Moved and seconded to incorporate the letter into the minutes of tonight's meeting. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
No.
Yes?
No.
Julie?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
No.
Read it.
In the second letter, I'd like to read, at Templeton's financial meeting in early December, the town accountant said the DOR review does not help him to do his job in balancing the town's budget. Over the last 3 years, the town official stated this is not a witch hunt, or no one is being railroaded in regards of a possible DOR review. What actually happened during the review and after paints an entirely different picture. Some of the information submitted was not pertinent, and other information prevented the review from being fair and honest. All information submitted to a review being done was sent by 3 individuals, while not 1 other person from other boards, committees, and departments in town responded. In July 2008, an elected official said the review is not obligatory and recommendations can or cannot be followed. To focus the town officials' attention on the balanced fiscal 2011 budget and do what we elected officials were put in office, which is to do the people's business, I motion not to follow any of the recommendations of the DOR's review and put this tainted report to bed.
Question?
I'll second that motion.
I have a question. Who wrote that letter, and why wasn't that letter brought up when the 3 people were here?
Because
Because why?
I did it, I chose to do it now.
Oh, you wrote that letter?
I
Who
just-
wrote the letter?
I just made, it's a motion I just made.
It's a motion you just made, and you had a lot of things in there about the town accountant not going along with the DOR. How come that wasn't brought up?
No,
on the
I didn't
3?
say, I didn't say that. I said the report did nothing to help assist the town accountant in doing his job with the budget.
It didn't help him. Okay. Now, who wrote the letter? Who wrote that letter you just read off?
I made the motion.
Oh, you wrote the letter.
I
Okay,
made that motion.
I see.
So let me ask, could I just ask, so you're saying you don't want to, you're gonna take the DRA part and you're not gonna take any recommendations and that's it? Is that what you're saying?
As written, as right now. Not to say down the road they couldn't form a committee like was suggested to look into it, study it.
Just so I understand the motion.
Advertise on the TV, on the personnel board, you're looking for one person, no employee or elected official of the town. Is Jerry, you're on the personnel board, you're on the personnel board, Bobby, how come?
On the personnel board?
Yeah.
I am not on the
Honest, no?
No, I'm
This
not.
time around.
How many are on the
The
personnel
bylaw
board?
says there'll be 2 selectmen, there'll be 1 from the advisory board, 1 from, I forget, and 2 at large.
But that ain't what it says on the,
It says that in the
on
bylaws.
the
It's in the
television. It's
bylaw.
on.
It's in the bylaw. That's the
Are
way
they
it
looking for
is.
someone for the personnel board?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why don't you get on it?
You had 3 good people on, they quit, 3 good women.
There's 2 at large.
There's 2 of us. There's Dennis and myself.
Every selectman's asked when you appoint it. Every selectman has the opportunity to sign up for it.
I just didn't know who was
You
on.
weren't here, Chris.
You were here.
On the board. And the only reason they did that is because we originally had 5 at large, and nobody would, for 2 years, we sat, and nobody would offer to be on it.
That's what I mean, if there's a position, people should sit on. If they wanna change something and do something, get on the board and do something.
Frank, Marty, you interested in being on the personnel board?
I'm sorry, hold on.
Well,
Thank you.
we couldn't get 5 people,
Good.
and then we had to change the bylaw. You can't get people to serve.
I decline respectfully, thank you.
Oh, I know, I'm throwing it out.
Oh, yeah, no, I appreciate the offer, I really do, sure.
Sincerely. Frank's on the planning board,
I appreciate your
and
confidence.
you're on another committee, the oversight committee.
That's it, that's it.
I need to talk to you about that anyway.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, is it seconded?
Yes, there's a second.
I myself plan on voting against this, and the reason is that there's no recommendations in that report that improves the financial status of the town of Templeton. Not one recommendation that improves the financial statements, the financial position in Templeton. Yes.
I understand that you're agreeing, Bob. Looking at this, Jerry, I agree with a lot. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that's in this report. There's a couple ideas in there, not some of the general requirements, the biweekly payroll, a few small ideas they had in here that maybe have some merit to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Why
why,
throw the baby out with the bathwater?
why can't?
Not all of them.
Huh?
I'm not all of them, trust me. This is not
Why-
I don't support a lot in this document.
Well, what, the ones that anyone does agree with, why can't we do it within the town, within the,
But what you just,
I'm gonna
the
throw it
the
out.
motion you just made was to disregard
It's
the whole
just-
report.
Yeah.
Throw it out.
So
That's my concern.
Oh, Jerry, hello, you. I checked on that biweekly payroll with Scott. Scott said it costs you money, because we don't pay for our checks. They're free.
Yeah, I mean, these are just things that they've been looked into,
So
that's
that
the
would
idea.
cost
That's
you.
all I'm suggesting, that we look into some of these
Yeah.
ideas before we talk about it.
And
Yeah, I asked
we-
him, but he was busy.
why can't
He
the
told me
town,
that.
why can't the town looking at it?
They can't, I'm not saying they can't, just when you say we're gonna throw out all these ideas, I just wanted to make sure we had vetted them properly before
Well,
we.
no, I just think it's the intent of the Board of Selectmen not to do anything, the majority of the board not to do anything with this report.
You're saying this
doesn't-
committee doesn't do anything?
No, with the report.
I'd like to see you come in here once in a while, it'd be nice.
I think you need a megaphone.
I got a question about the previous thing about the motion incorporating what was read into the minutes. My understanding is if you have a public meeting and whatever is discussed there is part of the official record, if I go home and I watch the tape and I record it and then I get the minutes, they're not gonna match up. And isn't that gonna be a legal conflict right there? I mean, if it's discussed in open meeting, shouldn't it be a part of the official record? So if you read that first letter and there was a motion to put it in the minutes and you voted 3-2 not to, so I understand you're not gonna be in the official record, but it was read here. Isn't it automatically part of the official record? I mean, doesn't it have to be? I mean,
Well,
that's
you
the
could make a
idea.
request, and then it would have to be produced. It's not going to be part of the official minutes,
Well,
because was read
if
as a
it's not a
statement.
part of the official record, then I assume it's not gonna be kept on file, is it? I mean, it's not part of the official record. I mean, I don't believe every little tidbit and note that you write down here that's, is not kept on file in the selectman's office if it's not part of the minutes.
I voted no because we have one person that has sent this board to the Attorney General to get that answered.
That, Mike, the question that I'm asking?
Yeah. So, if he says we have to do it, we'll do it.
So then you'll have to, when you go to accept these minutes, you'll have to amend them? But I just, like I said, if I go home and I record this tape of this meeting and then I get a copy of the minutes, they don't match up, something's...
Well, it's not verbatim, Jeff, it's not verbatim, you have to just give the flavor of the meeting and the motions. We could write minutes that are just motions. So the girls take it on tape and they summarize it, so you're not gonna hear it verbatim like you do in a court document.
I understand
If
that,
you-
but
if
he
you're in front
read
of
it, he
a-
discussed it here, it should just automatically be
Oh, this?
part of the
Oh, yeah,
the
this
record.
will be in the record, what was discussed.
So, I
Absolutely.
mean, it should be
Jeff,
part of the minutes.
it has to be. It's already been discussed
Well,
right
then,
at the beginning.
well, how do you vote no when it's
No,
automatically?
no, the motion I heard was not to
He's
accept
talking,
it.
you're talking about,
The first letter.
letter.
The first, not this one
Oh,
here.
that I
he's
know.
talking
The first letter that was read, and a motion was made to incorporate it into the minutes, and it's 3-2 not to. But it was read at a public meeting, to me, it's automatically gotta be part of the record.
I don't know the answer. Can I just talk about another recommendation? I did check on a recommendation to do automatic deposit, and Scott said that, and you can check with him, both of you. Scott said that that costs us money because you have to pay for each press of the button.
Oh, these are things I don't know. I just saw the recommendation, so
to
before we
encourage
throw it all
people
out, can we just vet them through and see if there's
Yeah,
anything
and I'm
that
just
we might want?
talking about those two. We get our checks straight, because I went through them with Scott, and then to press the button is a fee each time, so it would cost us more, he said to me, because we were discussing the financial aspect of the report. So the rest of it, I just, those two just come to mind.
Don't get me wrong, a lot of it I don't agree with, just a couple
Yeah,
of things.
yeah. Oh, I wasn't even discussing that, just a couple of.
I just feel that there was a lot of discussion at the previous meeting about it. Some people made the comment, let's grow up, and all this thing was divide the town. I just look at the move forward. If there is anything that the town can improve on, that the audit, the town's audit is coming out in the very near future as they're going through it now. And the town, since 2004, the town has been implementing improvements every year. Like the DOS people said, that if they had additional information, for example, with the personnel board and the capital planning, it might have changed their recommendations. That's.
Chris, you go.
Yes. The motion as it is on the floor is to disregard the complete DOR report.
Not follow any recommendations of the.
Okay. I don't think that's a good idea because there are, as Sean said, there are some things, maybe not the ones he brought up, but there are some things in there that we might want to look at down the road, and I think to just disregard everything.
It doesn't say the town can't move forward and discuss them on their own.
But then why are you making the motion to disregard the whole report? I don't understand that. I think we should, I don't think we have to do everything you're saying, believe me.
We don't have to do anything.
We don't have to
they're
do
saying.
anything you're saying, but I don't think we
Right
should
now.
vote not to. I think we should see what comes of it.
You know, the whole point of it is to generate discussion, which is what we're doing now. You don't have, it's not, if the Board of Selectmen does nothing, it's the same as voting not to do anything. And that's what the majority of this board is gonna do.
The study did not do what we asked.
Who invited them?
Who invited this
Who
board?
invited the DOR?
The board did.
The board of...
Here tonight, we did.
No, I'm talking about the initial report.
The board at that time,
Yeah.
which two of the members aren't here at least.
I see.
Right.
So the
I am.
selectmen
I'm the
did,
only
it
one who
wasn't,
was
they just
still here
didn't come in.
before.
Well, we
They
were
didn't just
told,
come in on, because of the state.
we were told at
required.
3 different times that it would be just a financial report. And it's everything but. Pardon?
It looked pretty financial to me. They're looking at,
When
they're
you
looking
threw-
at the town administrator position, and
And
they're
that's
looking at
financial?
several, of course it is, it's talking about money. I
Can you
mean,
tell me how that's financial?
well, you're gonna hire somebody for $127,000, and they're talking about that person's gonna take over a lot of the overages on the other, board heads and stuff like that. So I would say that definitely has a financial bearing on a lot of things. The way he was talking is a lot of these town administrators actually push the budgets. So if they're pushing the budgets, that's financial if you ask me.
And we have one here, like we have an accountant that pushes the budget. And the 2 meetings ago, she got held for pushing the budget. So what do you want?
She?
Yeah, she. Which
Well,
way
I
do
thought
we go?
Scott's a guy. Didn't you say an accountant?
Who do you think does the budget?
Each board is supposed to present their
And who
budgets.
brings it all together to make sure it's under the amount of money we have coming in?
The select board has a group of them, and there's individual budgets, and then they're presented to the treasurer.
The treasurer?
Well, the treasurer takes a look at what the monies are available.
No, she does not.
That's
No.
She doesn't,
Not
she
at all.
doesn't,
Not at all. Not at
she
all.
doesn't look at the available money?
No. No. That's what I'm saying.
Well, who's the,
Everyone
who's the
says-
she?
I'll
Who's the
do-
she?
I'll-
Everyone says we should be doing this and doing
Well,
that,
I'd
but
like
no one
to know,
understands how it
who is
operates.
the she that you're talking about? I thought,
She got a hand up over there.
oh, you,
Actually, yes, I do the.
you do the
With
budgets.
Scott, Scott and I do budgets when they come in, yes, we do, and figure out what's available to present to the town. The selectmen is presented with the budget book, yes.
Well, who presents Scott with those dollars? You do.
Yeah, I presented him, but
Each board head must give them
they
money.
turn it to us.
Okay, so they do turn into the
Who's
select.
done honestly, who's not?
You're part of the select,
Wasn't
right?
being honest.
I present,
That's what I'm saying.
That's not the one I want.
I can explain the
I
system.
make a motion to move the motion, how's that?
You already have someone in the assessor's
All
office.
right, roll call, Bob,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes. You quit.
No.
They're not an important board anyway, so.
any other business?
That's what you told
Yeah, I
me
got a
tonight.
question for Carol.
Expendable.
I had sent you an email, December 29th, and I had asked if we had received any kind of memorandum or review or opinion on how to proceed to recover legal costs from the Graves lawsuit from the sewer commissioners personally. And you said that there's been no response to date. I was wondering if we had had a memorandum or
I spoke
response.
to Kay about that
Yeah.
Friday, so
Yeah.
it should be coming. And I emailed you back that I didn't have anything yet. as of
Right.
yet. Yeah,
Okay. But,
okay?
yeah, I was just wondering why there
There's a
was.
couple of them that Kay owes us, Julie. There's
Okay.
another one she owes us as well.
Yeah, well, we already paid $408 to Cotman and Page on this issue, and I was just wondering what we had paid them for.
I don't recall paying them for that issue.
Okay, well, it's
Could you show
on,
that to me?
sure.
Yeah. When the meeting's over.
No, I've got it right here.
I'll just pass it on.
I was just wondering what we're paying money for, if we don't have the opinion yet.
Probably because of the research. You have to, she has to just
Well,
look up court cases.
It says prepare memorandum, collection of attorney's fees for frivolous action in district court, and exemption drawn by legislature or district court, right here. So I'm assuming that's what that was about. I could be wrong, but it looks pretty specific to me.
Review and evaluate court decision and correspondence from the insurance company. Evaluate venues to recover defense costs. This is what, 11/5?
Yeah,
I don't think the letter went out. This is-
well, I've
this
got
is-
a copy of the letter that we sent out on November 2nd.
Mhm. All right, I'll check it, but I know she has to look up some court judgments to, in her research. So I might say that that was the research. Interpretation of statute. Yep. So she's looking up court cases.
Anything else?
If you'd like to talk to
Motion to
her.
adjourn.
Go ahead.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Legal research. Legal research.
Yep.
Julie, it says right here, legal research.
Right, but it also says prepare memorandum. What was the memorandum about? To whom? Why we paying?